The crematory for Roper Funeral Home. If you look in your notes, you'll find some information that goes all the way back to October 2009. And Monday night, we'll have the people here that's going to make a presentation to the council. And I will this information here will give you all the data you'll need as far as the city is concerned. You might have some research you want to look up as far as crematory. You can Google it, whatever the case may be. But this is the action that we've had in the past, starting with regular council meeting October the 5th, 2009, following a zoning meeting that was September and October. Jim, okay. You remember that well, don't you? Just have
I remember, yeah. No, I remember the situation. Really, it went through without, there was, Virginia was the only one being granted, the only one that had concerns with it.
It was across the street from his house.
Across the street from his house. I've got really two things that I question about now. Has this been to the, did we take it to the zoning board?
Well, we did an amendment to the ordinance. It calls a funeral home used for human services. Such buildings contains a chapel and may include space and facilities for embalming and the performance of other services used in the preparation of the dead for burial or cremation, the performance of autopsies and other surgical procedures, the indoor storage of caskets, funeral urns, and other related funeral supplies, and the indoor storage of funeral vehicles. In addition, the actual cremation of dead may occur within the building or necessary buildings.
And you copied this from Roswell, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's where Roper brought it to me. He actually did the research for it. Okay? And over here, when we did the motion, there was discussion on the, can you do the service for other facilities? You remember that, Jim? Read that and take your time and look over it and see if you have any questions on it, because we explained it pretty well that he could bring bodies from other facilities and perform the cremation at this location, which makes it basically a crematory, purpose of serving the general public. But I believe we had some issues with a standalone crematory in a commercial area.
We did. We said we wanted it to be like a funeral home.
You got to have a funeral. It's got to be attached to a funeral home.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way the ordinance is written. And to me, it's still different. I mean, yes.
Well, this means we got to find out what they specifically want and how it relates, because I don't have the design. I was told, for your information, that it was going to be a facility that would cater to veterans, and that they would have funeral home services, and I don't have all the details on that.
Well, that's something too. I mean, we start getting stuff like this, John, we need to have them start bringing us architectural designs and stuff that's signed off by PEs and all that other crap. It takes a liability off of it.
It won't be coming to the council, it'll be coming to our here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's where we're trying to get there.
Yeah, we need to look at something like that.
In 2009, did it come to council from the planning and zoning board? I know Costanza presented it.
We were trying to add crematory so a funeral home could have it in a C2 zoning.
But yet there was, the planning and zoning board had a public hearing on it. And,
Yeah, you should have a copy of that,
well, if I remember,
that's
why are we
right.
not doing that this time?
Because it's already zoned for C2 per this. Per that motion that you made, and John, I don't know who seconded you.
It's the Marshall.
Okay.
That's right, it's still C2. Okay, so we're not avoiding due diligence of it going through the zoning board.
No.
Yeah, we've already set that precedent. Okay.
So it really boils down to whether they're gonna be a funeral home or not, right?
Pretty much.
And that's gonna be the presentation Monday. At first, I can't, the early discussions when they came to my office was, a funeral home with less frills, for lack of better, and I used an analogy to explain that, but that's when we decided to get to this point and let them come to the council to discuss what they wanted to do. Otherwise, if it was real simple and clear, we would just approve it and send them on their way.
Do we have to license funeral homes separately, or they just have their own business license?
Business license, it's not regulated.
Would be the same cost as the dance studio.
$75
Yeah.
occupational tax.
Who oversees the fact that they have a qualified person there to do the embalming
State.
and all that? State?
Well, we've got a
We have charged a lot more
definition
$75
of
we did then.
Yeah.
we have this definition of funeral home in our ordinance. It's right here. So they come in and tell us what they've got. We have to decide,
believe
does
it-
that fit our definition?
That's where we're at. That Ian just walked in?
Yeah.
It said, even right here, you know, it says, not conform to council that our ordinance currently did not have a definition of a full-service funeral home, and that's when we
Added that.
added the part from the Roswell.
And you could have done it in a industrial location. If you want to stand alone.
Why were they saying that they were giving services to veterans? I'm sure Rover does too.
Yes, I'm gonna let them explain. I didn't quite understand that well enough to explain it. It just always sounded like a good thing to help veterans. So but they prepare, a lot of veterans might not be able to afford funerals. They handle the arrangements as inexpensive as possible, do the cremation, and it's kind of explained to me that way.
If they have the chapel.
They're gonna be here Monday night and explain all that to you, John. I'm just getting you ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna try to go into the weeds too far with it.
Parents shows cremation and there's a cost. Funerals are expensive.
Sounded better to me every day.
Well, cremation wasn't cheap.
We'll get Ann up to speed with
That's
this.
their choice.
The only thing we're going over is crematories. And we got all the data that you need right here from the history of what we've done in the past. And if you have any questions, we'll answer those as well. We'll even stop for you and let you catch up.
No, it's fine, go ahead.
Okay.
I think in the request they gave us that we had, they didn't give it to us. I guess they didn't do the presentation, but anyway, they did have a drawing of I guess the crematory they planned on installing.
I don't think I've got any data.
I don't have my old book, but I remember something.
Oh,
And,
was it? Yeah.
Oh,
When
criminal-
this was done.
Funeral home,
No,
less
we talked
purpose.
about it at the last.
But they will provide crematory
This
service.
particular, and I saw some sort
And
of
they
drawing.
cater, what I've got is going to cater more to the
Funeral
veterans,
home first, right?
to hold down the cost.
the veteran.
Now, that's going to be presented to you Monday night. And we require, if you read this when you get a chance, that we require a
And the criminal was actually.
certified bona fide funeral home to provide that service.
If we approved it in advance.
Okay, next item, guys, is item B. Jim, you got all your data from Mr. Bledsoe,
Yes, Brad sent it to me,
our council has a copy of it as
all
well. We
council,
got-
I hope everybody got the email. I asked John if he got his. I don't know if you went to your,
I didn't give them my GT Dragon, so it must be in my LJ.
but anyway, I hope everybody got it.
They have it now.
Yeah. We had, Brad's got some concerns about the foundation. I think this gives us information that hopefully will allow a wise decision on what to do with the property. Realistically, it's going to take a lot of money to redo the front building. The second building, second and third buildings, I'm going from front to back on the property, even more money to get involved in restoring those. Don't know if the will of council is that I take this back to the industrial authority and get a recommendation from them. Remember, this is their property that we pay for. Or does council want to talk about it beforehand?
Got some good news. The Perrow property, not Perrow property, the Roper property and the Poole property is paid off, and we'll be transferring that into the city's name. We'll meet Friday with, we may have it, would we have it ready for the council meeting?
No, it's next Friday.
Oh, okay. Be next Friday. We're going to have a meeting of the Development Authority, and we're going to request them to give that to us, and then we'll turn it over to our attorneys and let them do the transfer. And I spoke to Pickett today, and his health is getting better, he's improving, and we'll be able to, he'll probably be able to do it for us, instead of turning it over to someone else. But that property was paid for, as well as the 83 acres at the Cove is totally paid for now.
So really, the Perrow property is the only thing we have?
And the police department, we're still open for the police department. And do we have another loan?
It's been-
That's probably
What
it.
about the property we just bought?
Perrow property.
You talking
No,
about
we
$12,000?
That, 12, I think we pay cash for it.
Oh, we bought that, we paid for that.
That's all the general, the government funds loans, and that's a list of them.
Did you make a copy of the council on that?
No, I didn't know we were talking about loans tonight,
Okay,
but that's the payoff years.
okay. We can have that for on Monday.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
okay.
So, getting out of debt.
We need to have a discussion. I don't know if you want to do it tonight, or.
Yeah,
spend some
go ahead.
time
If
on
you want, we got some
reports.
time set
What
aside
is
for this.
What's the will of council on the Perrow property? After seeing these reports, we want to look at maintaining the property,
Do we have any kind of estimates on?
no.
Okay, it's just.
And that may be the decision that you make is.
The only estimate we have is to get the white building, which is the newer of the structures, usable for the Arts Council when they were looking at it. And again, it was a licensed contractor, but it was a little bit off the cuff, I think. But he's qualified and has historically done good work.
They were gonna pay for that, weren't they? At that
They
time?
were gonna try to get the money, yeah, they were gonna pay for it. And that still may be on the table, even though they got some other things going, I think, but, you know, my personal opinion is that eventually we're gonna have to stop tearing down historical properties and evaluate whether we should save them or not. A lot of great, I mean, I've lived here almost 23, 24 years. And not so much in the city, but, you know, the Harmony School was torn down, and and replaced with a metal building that's about the same
Oh, God,
shape and
that's
size.
it.
And then, the most recently, Jasper Junction, was torn down. People laugh when I talk about Greystone, being torn down.
Yeah, nobody knows where that is unless
But,
they lived here at the time.
And again, you know, you look at these things and they look like pieces of junk. I'll show you pictures of my house when we bought it. Every bedroom had the plaster falling in from water damage, and we have structural issues in our foundation that we had to deal with. But I guess my point is that I've always been kind of a lover of historical things, and eventually I want to see some of these structures saved. Is this one? I don't know. The
I
house
think we'd
across
have to kind of look at what it would cost. I mean, to at least get some estimates to see, you know, cost versus.
By the way,
But the thing is, where I'm kind of torn between it, you know, I love history more than anybody, he'll tell you. But if we're gonna do it, do we preserve it to make a bunch of bathrooms out of it, or do we preserve it to show a lot of old medical businesses and put people to come in and look at them, you know, the old timey wheelchairs, an old x-ray machine that, you know, would have burned you up today, you know, it's just.
I think the way we make that decision is by engaging people who do this for a living, or people who have experience with it. The Department of Community Affairs has a Main Street program. City planners through Carl Vinson Institute, they can come in and give you advice, talk about where there's money available, and then hopefully with some energy, and I think there is a lot of energy that's growing across the city and the county, we can maybe encourage our historical society to kind of come out of the,
And that's gonna look, I don't know if you ever got to go down to R.T. Jones when it was still R.T. Jones. But it used to be, you walked in the front
yeah.
and they had all kinds of old medical stuff from, you know, today you just look
Well,
at.
Piedmont has that now in their old park. Main Piedmont does, so. We just,
well, bringing the contractor in without knowing what we want to do with it
right,
is difficult. If we decide, maybe it is a great place for a museum, I'll call it a museum, then that gives us information we give to a contractor and they can come back with some good answers. If we say bathrooms, then same thing. If we just go to them and are not able to tell them what the eventual purpose of the property is going to be, use of the property is going to be, then I think we're.
You got the direction.
Yeah, you've got to have, got to know what's eventually going to happen to the place.
What was the recommendation of the committee for it?
the committee
Other
hasn't seen
than
this
that.
information.
They have not seen this information, and
I think part of it is we need a bigger plan rather than just focusing on one building. We need to,
Pieces.
we've got it, everybody talks about parking. We've got tons of empty lots there now. Now somebody owns all of them and everybody wants to, I guess someday make their fortune off of having a building there, but we need to be looking at the plan overall for what our city and downtown areas will be like. And whether this fits into it or not. Is this
I would
house,
say we'd send it back to the committee and see what the recommendations, and then maybe we can send it and see what it cost us to do what they're talking about.
The
And if it's
industrial
worthwhile,
authority.
yeah,
and
Okay.
the committee.
yeah.
is this house older than John Luke's office, or is this, they
This
about the
house
same?
was built, around World War II era.
It said 97 years old. What it said on front.
Well, how old is that? Subtract that from 2018. About 1920. I think the house, the cabin in the back is not as old as it looked.
No, it's about the same age as the White House.
It was built as kind of a playhouse, or a
It
place,
might not
I think,
be
Regal.
worth saving.
Yeah.
Mr. Perrow, Dr. Perrow's daddy didn't like living in the little White House. Of
Wow.
course, Margot knows a little bit. I swear I thought she said it was built in the 40s though. That's what I remember.
I thought so as well.
Yeah,
Well, maybe that's when that park was done, it's made to match, best it could, that's why I read in there, 97 years old.
you know,
Three buildings.
Yeah, and I think I would encourage the committee to look at it, not just a use of this building, but a use for the whole property, and fit these buildings into that plan.
Because I think we've talked about a dozen different things with that property and usage and what we might or might not do, or.
I think the aesthetics of the three buildings together is not, I mean, if they were three separate properties where you had this little old cabin that you wouldn't even need to restore, but just have it appearances, have the old white building, you know, they're so closely adjacent and architecturally not complementary, it makes them a little bit, maybe make some of our long-term
Back in
decisions a
probably
little easier.
30s.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe
nice,
it's older than that.
Margaret told me it was built by her parents. That's Dr. Perrow's house, not.
Yes, because he's got
Was
it
it?
fixed
I
up.
mean, they could have bought it maybe. Maybe they just moved in it. They didn't build it.
but the thing is though, we need to have some kind of a plan with it, and the thing is, the biggest thing I read at the report, I keep saying it, moisture, moisture, water, 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 which means mold, mold, mold. It means a lot to clean it up. And the thing is, do we want?
Moisture and a bad foundation sort of go together, and moisture's just deteriorating that foundation more every day.
And the
A little
thing
bit
is,
of freeze thaw, which maybe we have some freeze thaw around here.
and
The
20
thaw
years
part,
ago,
I'm beginning to wonder.
Yeah.
20 years
Especially
ago, the
later.
Historical Society kept the jail going 100 miles an hour. Now, most of those people are gone, and you don't see it get took care of like it used to. And there's a lot of history up there too.
Sure.
There it is.
And, you know, are we gonna preserve it, become responsible for it, or is that something that we need to get, like y'all said, the Historical Society to maintain?
I think
It's an energy thing. I really do.
let me see about reconvening the group and the industrial authority at the same meeting. And, John, I may try to use this room, rather than something at the college, and,
Just remember, we still don't have bathroom facilities on Main Street, which is what we was hoping to accomplish.
there's, how many acres of property there now?
Several.
There's other places we can put it. But let's get the committee together and see what guidance they can give us.
And remember, once we put the bathrooms there, that's another thing that we're gonna have to clean and maintain.
Of what? Air?
Because, I mean, you can go to LJ, they've got one set of bathrooms, one set of toilets always locked, into the other ones, they're always, somebody in there
I
living there.
misunderstood that question.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when it's cold outside, it's closed.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, let me do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the agenda for Monday night, I'll kind of drop that off, and we'll add it back when you want to pull it back in. Because it's old business.
Yeah, and if you want to include this old business and,
It's kind of sitting, it's been sitting there for about 4 months.
that doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother you.
Clean up my agenda, it gets off of it, but don't take but a second going through it. We won't forget it, because it's there. But, added to this as well, since it's a work session, my goal with the property is having a little opposition to other goals, I believe. My goals were also to try to get the Jones property next to it. And that would really squared off the entire corner. To kind of throw that, since all these properties are paid for, might be something we could look at investing in.
How much is there?
And, the Jones property, I'd say probably about 3/4 acre, Lonnie, what do you think? With the building and the parking lot?
They just cleaned that building up, got brand new fence around it too.
Yeah, but, it's been said, and I'm saying this to Jim Jones, he's a good businessman, so he'll know if we're interested.
Oh.
He'll be happy to see us coming.
Does it belong to Jim or does it belong to his sister? I think it belongs to his sister.
I believe it's Jim.
Either way,
His sister owns across the street over there. If it belonged to his sister, it'd be under the name Jarvis, Kim Jarvis. So I think that's under Jim's name.
My understanding
But
is.
it is
records
contiguous
from
to our
the old,
property.
Jones Ford dealership being stored there now.
And I think the church was interested in it at one time, but I think they have withdrawn their interest.
Yeah, plenty.
You think? Okay, we've got plenty as well, but it sure does, it would tie the world together.
No, I hear it.
Well, the church liked it because we park all campers.
Okay, item C, council, really quick, is alcohol license renewal. The ones that missed it last month, they came in shortly after our meeting. Tara's Food Market, which is a convenience store on 515 at the at the intersection of 515 and 53, and Madeline's Cafe, and I called both of them, and the Food Mart was kind of upset, but they finally understood, and Madeline said that it's fine with them, they weren't gonna do much until the 8th anyway, so very accommodating.
So Woodbridge came in and did theirs. They did?
They
haven't applied yet.
they have no beer and wine or?
I don't know, they've not applied for a license.
I
Haven't applied for anything.
Well, I heard they hadn't.
I was out there yesterday at the Woodbridge, and we was working on flooding, fire protection, and got a gas smell in their office. So, I think got a leaky wall heater, and we told them about it, and I asked them not to let anybody stay upstairs because the sprinkler system has been compromised. Okay, and alcohol license request for Fred's. You'll soon be able to stop into Fred's and pick up your snacks as well as your alcohol, beer and wine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
Did you mean to skip D?
oh, I didn't. Item D is I Love My New York Pizza is still in the process of their application, and they'll be the next phase on council meeting Monday night.
When do you think they'll be open?
Pretty soon, as soon as we get.
Soon, all of them are.
I know Marco's is,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is.
Marco's didn't apply for one though either, did they? That Marco's Pizza.
Beer and wine, no.
I don't think so, yeah.
Well, you've, not trying to go back to Fred's just a moment, Fred's beer, but, I've always wondered why the dollar stores didn't sell it, because you stop and buy your picnic supplies on the way to the lake, and that's one of the original uses for the dollar store, and beer and wine would be great. Watch it, if they see Fred's, they'll be next. That's my prediction, buy stock. Next item F, Liberty Lane Pump Station. David, you're back on the oven again.
Stay here, or?
You can sit right there. Come right so we can see you. If you can get by me. Didn't realize you were that big. We've got a couple items. David's going to give a little update on several things dealing with the water system, and we'll be touching on the weather issue that we're having now.
The pumps first.
Yeah, go what's on this.
Y'all had already looked at this on the budget, I don't know.
Yes, we did.
Budget committee, it was approved with the budget committee to buy the second pump for Liberty Lane Pump Station. And it's pretty much a dedicated now that we went with a flat pump on the other one, that we would prefer to go with a flat pump on this one, toward, everything will match. So y'all budgeted $40,000, and I would like to get approval to go ahead and do that.
We'll do that Monday night, but just let the council know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it's,
I'm a firm believer keeping it all the same. That way
Yes.
you can interchange parts and doing all what you
yeah,
need to do.
it'd be nice. Also, John, you'd be tickled ever. I mean, we're slowly but surely getting soft starts and VFDs on everything we have.
And have you noticed that
Yes.
they're not tearing up?
And it helps power bill too. So, I don't know if it'll cut your pay on that. But yes, we are.
I'm making up for it.
Up for that.
Everybody else is
Yeah.
paying.
But,
What you're not spending, we are.
so that will be.
You said 40,000, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I think it'll be a little under that.
Yeah.
You don't have a quote yet.
No, I don't have a quote.
You gonna bring one Monday night? or-
Yes. I'll bring that price. I didn't have a chance the past few days. I'll have an actual price.
Can you get some competitive bidding going?
We
Well,
did the flights.
That's what I'm saying, it's just a flat pump,
That's the brand.
it's the brand name,
Yeah.
and they're the only ones that sell it. Now,
Oh,
whenever
you don't have a local
Yeah.
supplier?
No, we
Gotcha.
don't. Marietta, or some Kennesaw would be the location to come from. Now, when we originally done this, we got bids because we went with 3 or 4 different companies. But now that we've got one flight in there, I like to pair it, with the same one.
I was making the assumption that more than one.
Flight deal,
Yeah.
flight deal.
Selling flight pumps.
Yeah, no, it's a Pacific flight. There would be no difference in between. Being it's got to be a flight pump, it's going to be the same.
And they're the distributor in this area.
Yeah, and it might be, like I say, you could maybe get a bid from one in Alabama, but they can't come in and bid against the ones in Georgia. So, it's.
Same way when you buy a John Deere tractor.
Exactly. And the wastewater pump, at the wastewater plant, also the return activated sludge pump that y'all had approved on the budget, is 6,500, should be a little bit below that. But it'll be in the realm of 6,500, and I will get an actual number on it for Monday night also, that y'all would approve. There's 3 return sludge pumps that, whenever the sludge settles at the bottom of the clarifiers, it is then turned back and put back into the aeration basin. And these pumps are under a tremendous amount of wear because of what they're doing. So we bought one new last year, try to buy another one new this year, and then next year we'll get a new one. We'll have basically 3 new ones, and we'll be in pretty good shape on that. So
Has it got any chance of competitive bidding
no,
on that one?
no, it's a flight also, it's the same.
Same situation.
Yeah, John, understand that when you got a panel box, only certain things are gonna hook up to that panel box. Without changing, then you would run into having also interchange parts in that panel box also, so.
And we've done that in the past before, but not because we wanted to.
Yeah.
In the old system.
What brand was that one?
Flight.
It was flight too,
Yeah,
both
both
flights,
flights, yes.
We got other brands, you got Kohler and you got all kinds of other ones, but the thing is flight, it's probably the most reasonable of the bunch, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind staying with flight. I was just under the
Mhm.
misconception that we could get two companies give us a bid on
Oh, I'd love
flight,
to.
and if they're in a protected,
You have to be a different name brand to get a competitive bid.
You have to get like a Kohler or something like that.
Not to say then you would get into control and probably hook up.
is
on
this
the line.
including installation?
No, we did that.
You know all that?
Yes. We'll do that. And this will be the last part, this has been redone, the check valve pit, y'all have improved. It's installed and operating great. And we got 1 new pump in there, and this will be the 2nd new pump. So that'll be a brand new station there. It's the main station from pulling sewer all the way to the racetrack back to the plant. It's the last one, and it handles A, B, C, and D, and it's E, and it handles everything from racetrack all the way up to that location.
So we can check you off the list now, is that what I just heard?
Is he finished for the
He said he
year?
was done, right?
Well, I want to open the floor for him just a second to tell you what's been going on.
Lord.
We're not going to spend any money here, I don't think.
Leaks,
The last few days,
incredible. The highest demand I've ever seen in the city of Jasper. That's including summer, that's including droughts, that's including everything it
Because
is.
of the leaks.
that and everyone's got their water turned on to keep it from freezing, thank goodness. Those little streams that they run count up
Oh, yeah.
big time.
It just,
Plus the phone calls, boy, I had several people say, why just have a human being call me instead of that stupid computer?
That was a county thing they did for us.
yeah,
That was
robots.
pretty good though.
Oh, I'm glad they did it,
I
but
mean,
people just tickle me.
Yeah.
And there was, how many hits did they get on the internet? 8,000?
Oh, yeah, they put it on Facebook,
Yeah.
it was 7,700 or something like that.
David's running, that's not gonna work.
Well, robocall, there's a lot of people, older people that ain't interested in Facebook.
Yeah, they don't have, yeah.
They pick up the phone,
Yeah.
because It's still out, I mean, we're buying, as we speak, we're buying 60 gallon a minute from the county in the west end, off of the pump station y'all approved back in summer. And we're buying 100 gallon a minute from Cherokee County
And
on the south end of Henderson Mountain. So that's 160 gallon a minute there. We usually sell the county 150 gallon a
But
minute.
we're not buying some at the Crematory?
Yeah, 20 gallon.
Okay.
Yes, it's still a small area. And, yeah, on that, Bent Tree Drive, or across the road from the fire department, about 20 gallon a minute from there. And we usually sell them 150 gallon a minute at Dragon Drive, and we're only selling them 20 gallon a minute there right now. And everything is wide open as much as it can go.
Yesterday morning, at around 6 o'clock, we had an 8-inch water main break at the hospital. And it dumped a lot of water. How many gallons, thousands of drops before we get it under control?
At least a quarter million.
Yeah. So with that, and then on top of that, we were chasing around these water leaks, and we'll let Lonnie talk about it for just a minute, but while we were doing that, David started experiencing issues getting water from the creek to the treatment facility. And we got home last night about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We found one of our water mains, or raw water lines, froze and broke, and where it crosses the stream, the old, I want to call it the 1931 line.
Yeah.
No, excuse me, 1950 line,
It's actually
the old valve.
that was one of the first things the salesman, when he called me, he thought, well, y'all had that line running, where we replaced the bus, that line was up and running. It was a flush valve off the side of it, where the valve was just out of the ground about that far. And it froze and busted that valve, and it was shooting,
It's just,
oh, it was amazing, it sounded like a huge waterfall or something. And
finally got the construction work that happened a few years back, the pipes, the valves were realigned, and we had to spend some time trying to, we went down there and listened to watch the water, and David was on the phone with us trying to figure out which line was going to be valve to turn off.
we
Quite a
finally
project.
this morning, to get it completely off where they could actually get in there and work on it.
Perrow.
We had to open up the check valves at the pump station and let what water was left in it go out those check valves where they could get in there and repair it.
And the crews, just as you guys were starting, we're coming back in, we repaired, Lonnie, do your thing, I'm gonna correct you just a little bit on the number of leaks we've had. What is that?
Lunch.
Oh,
Okay, should have killed it first.
Okay, on this list, this is this new computer system y'all purchased, the city has, and it's coming in really handy. We had 18 leaks that we actually had to go out and dig up and use equipment on, and crews getting soaked and everything, but there were many more calls than that. But this thing, I'm going in there. These busted water lines here have been GPS. We know exactly where every one of them busted. I have been out there and physically saw them. Down here on the bottom, under comments, you can see I'm putting what size lines it was, what kind of line it was, where it was tied on to a 6 or a 2 inch, where it was located. I mean, we're accumulating a great deal of information.
And history there.
and these lines did not freeze. We call it cold water breaks. When the water gets this cold, and if you transfer that water through the line, these lines just start breaking. And PVC will split the entire line. Yeah, this is a dig at
That's at the hospital.
That's the hospital dig. We had to lay that back, but this thing was 15 feet deep. And actually it was put in when they were building the doctor's buildings, and then they came in and put fill over top of that. Normally a water line is 36 inches and 48 inches deep max. And we found this one there.
The line actually split. The entire work area was 29 feet wide,
Had to lay it back.
57 feet long, and 15 feet deep. I mean, it was a huge work area.
Had 2 crews per
Just about dug up the whole road going out
Thank
to the.
goodness we was able to cut it off.
Yeah.
Yes, and we did. There was a valve there, and it was cut off within an hour after we got the call. crews got there and cut it out. This
Where
here,
was it? Whereabouts? At the
In front
hospital?
of the doctor's building, in the
From
middle,
the
the middle building,
uh,
in the road. But it was, it could happen tonight, with the water conditions we have.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I've mentioned this before. I saw a picture, it's not included in here, but on the, I guess Pickett's progress site. This is a 15-foot hole. Employee down in there
We laid it back.
with no
Sure.
personal protection equipment.
We laid it back, we put a ladder down into it, and they were able to repair it.
Do we have hard hats for folks?
You don't need a hard hat down there, you've got to get in your, it's
Sorry.
hard to repair water lines, because
I disagree.
well,
We
I
need
encourage-
personal
I-
protection equipment. If they don't have it, the city needs to be looking at getting some.
If it's nothing no more than a shoring box.
well, I can got a short box, but we're sitting there, I'll give you the details on this. It is 10, 15 degrees wind blowing. I've got people froze to death. I've got the hospital director of maintenance standing there beside me. They want to open up the next day I was going to shut it down for 2 days before we get in there. We went in there, opened that up, and you'll see the shelves back here. We laid this thing back. There was nothing over their heads. And so I told them not to go into it till I got back. They called me and I went in and okayed that to go in. I was not happy with it, but it was safe. I felt like for those guys, I would have gotten into it myself. But it was not randomly done. That road, you go look at it, we laid the road back, how many feet long?
the entire work area was 27 feet wide.
Yeah, so there was nothing over their head. There was a shelf here and then one laid back. You couldn't do that.
I see that, I saw it, and the other.
Well, I didn't like the pictures being taken either, because I knew it'd create all the confusion.
There's no confusion.
Well,
You need personal protection equipment. And
Well, repairing water lines is a little different than working a construction job. I had guys a day underwater repairing water lines. And it freezing outside. A hard hat would have been in the way. If you want hard hats, we can do hard hats. But we tried it in the past, and it's not working under a building. These guys are out in the open. I understand where you go, but
our insurance company would be appalled.
I don't think so. Repairing water lines is different than working construction.
It's an unsafe situation. We need our people to have personal.
David, you got any advice on hard hats all day with the guys that,
What about the training?
I've never seen any of the departments have hard hats, but, I mean, on lead water line. Now, whether it's something that's required or not, if it is, I've never heard of it.
never either. But because it's hard to keep a cap on your head more often than not.
Well, I mean, I understand that too, but I mean, if we're working around any kind of backhoes, track hoes, if there's any kind of equipment, we're required to have ours on.
Our guys are too.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's something we need to look at, is
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We need to look at the
I can find
regulations
out,
and see,
but
and
I've never,
the safety.
it's something that I'm not
And
aware
I
of.
know it's
Even the
gonna be
safety
unpopular
training,
with
yeah.
employees.
I don't care about popularity. I'm just telling you that it's very difficult
And I come
with these
to
things.
this from a sort of a special situation. I had to sit down with a family who had lost, their son had lost their life.
Mhm. How did he die?
It was at the marble company, got caught at the neck by a slab of marble. We didn't know why he was there,
Right.
but once you sit down with the family.
Well, we've been very fortunate, 25 years, and this one here, we have never had hard hats for the guys unless we go work in, when we go into the Walmart to inspect, when they were building, we'd have to put hard hats on. But if we want to do this, we can do this, but
Let's explore the.
Find what the standard is and do it.
yeah, but I've never seen the standard that would require that.
But the safety training for these guys, We do need to do safety training for them, just so you've got there in those circumstances,
Right.
that they feel safe with it.
Well, the crews that we have, I'm proud of them. They're
Don't,
Oh, yeah.
they're among
don't
the,
get me wrong.
well, they're
I am too.
safety, the fire safety record has been very good. And, but it only takes one accident, I understand that. But the hard hat, I was not worried about a hard hat more than I was worried about a cave in or this on this particular dig. And this particular dig, we had the hospital out of water for 1 hour, hour and a half, maybe
About
longer.
an hour.
Okay, and 2 doctors' buildings that were trying to perform services. And I was wanting, if it'd been any other time, to put barricades around and say, we'll be back when it warms up. So this was a project that was done by very qualified and capable employees that I don't think you can find them in Atlanta, Georgia, making twice or 3 times what these guys make, do a better job on what they did.
I'm not questioning it.
It's rare too. I mean, that, I don't know any other place we've got that.
I'm not
Well,
questioning that, John, I'm just saying we need to provide every safety, piece of personal protection
You
equipment.
see the dig, we got a shift on this, that's
So that's
necessary
another
right
thing we
here.
need to look at.
I was wanting to lay it back all the way to the sidewalks, but it would have taken, and the weather conditions were, no reason for safety reasons to be skipped, but they needed water, and we would dig, we tore the road up. It's gonna cost quite a bit to repair the road itself, because we've already replaced, foot, I guess, 12 inches of base that we've taken out.
I think so.
Okay, but I would, David, if you'll do me some research on hard hats,
No, let's look at personal protection equipment. Hard hats is just one of the things. There may be something else out there.
Well, there's short boxes, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
well,
But
we,
they got-
I would
we wouldn't be
have,
following
if we didn't insure box, I would've got a contractor. And I called Lee Mullins, came to the site, and he was gonna bring me shore boxes if we needed, but by that time, we had it laid back and shelved. And I don't like anything over ankle deep personally, but when you find one this deep, you have to lay these shelves back to make sure there's nothing over the guys' heads, and we did that.
I thoroughly understand that that was a tough situation.
Is that the only big one we have at the hospital? That size?
No, we have
Others?
a couple of, that were bored in, that would be deeper, the one behind Becky Denny's, and behind the Pueblo Grill. I never liked those depths either back in the day. We did, if we probably have to bypass
Sewer lines?
sewer lines.
Yeah.
Sewer lines can get you
Talking
past
about
this.
water lines, yeah,
Water lines.
very, very.
Anything, this right here was covered with fill when they went back in, they put the water lines in, then they decided they wanted to redesign, and the water lines were in, so they just raised the valve boxes, and there it was. And, it's just a very expensive proposition to go in and clean that out digging, but the fact the city of Jasper can repair that, it's a little bit short of amazing.
We've got some good employees, no doubt.
And those other 23, I got 26 leaks on my list, and Lonnie's got his qualified different, but we went down today and repaired an outside spigot at the bottle shop, what used to be Trout, or is Trout's. Their valve broke, and nobody was willing to repair whatever, and so we stopped what we were doing and repaired that for them quicker than they could have stopped and done it, because we were losing water. And when we're losing water, and David's talking to me that we're getting down to 50%. Give them a little update on that, David, on our position.
All the tanks are still on about 50%. That's why we're buying the water, and we're doing everything we can to try to keep everything as full as we can to where, because I'm afraid we haven't seen the worst. Worst will probably be Saturday or Sunday or Monday.
Let's say Monday.
And so we're trying to, but it's every day, it's another main. The transmission line going out didn't help none. That pretty much emptied our reservoir beside the plant. So, it's just one thing after another. It's cold weather. I know they say it was this cold 3 years ago. I don't remember it.
I heard the other day they said it's as cold as it's been in 6 years.
John, are you still gonna be able to make our tree cutting event?
Wednesday,
We're gonna be able to do that?
that's on the plan.
Okay. with the situation we have now, you think
Yeah,
it's gonna be there?
we're gonna be there, that's gonna be the forestry, unless we have a ordeal.
Is it?
Okay.
I know.
That'll be next Wednesday, we're gonna cut the trees down on, Burnt Mountain Road, that's kind of leaning over the
We're
power
gonna
line.
block Park Mountain Road at Campus Drive.
We'll block it at, Indian Forest, and we're gonna have all the signs out that morning when you get here, turn traffic through Navajo.
And we wanna have a line crew along with them on site this time, so if they do need to cover up, but we're gonna do it hot, because if we take it out, it's everybody all the way to the top of the mountain. So, we're gonna do our best without having to do that.
You're gonna cover the lines?
Cover it as it work, as a hip hop, because we don't have enough hoses to cover that whole section. We'll have to cover it up, work the crane, cover it up, work the crane.
That's gonna be quite an event for anyone who's watching on the internet tonight or next week. That'll be next Wednesday, starting at about 8 o'clock in the morning until
I think so.
about 9.
Yeah, we're gonna let traffic get clear.
Yeah, get through school traffic, and we'll be finished about 2 o'clock or so.
I hope so.
That's cool. Okay, next week.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about the wastewater plant expansion.
Please.
And we have some of the numbers in on the wastewater plant expansion. I know he's got two sections here, one about land application,
Mm-hmm.
which, $12 million, I think.
Well, it's, could be an option that we could grow into in the future. Because land application probably be the route to go to get more permit increase. And of course, at that time, we'd be working with, hopefully, with Arrowhead Country Club for it. But that carried it to a whole different price.
Yeah, it's a bit double, yeah, I mean, just what we'd already talked about going to code. He's got 5.9 million here, or basically 6 million. I think a lot of that can be cut off of that list and done at a later date. So I don't see any reason we couldn't do it for around 5 million on the expansion of the wastewater plant. And that workshop is what day?
February,
Move from the.
yeah, February, something.
I just got a text message from a friend of mine in Chattanooga that says, hello, been thinking about the city of Jasper, cold weather. Chattanooga's had 33 water breaks repairs. So,
Everybody's got it.
Well, I got a picture on my phone, my son.
33 versus our 20.
20, well, 23, like I said, I say
My
26.
son works at the Canton Water Plant, he was standing on the
So
basin.
you got the computer.
He was standing on the water at the basin.
Huh?
In Canton, at the water plant, my son works there, and he was standing on the water in the basin.
Really?
It's froze. I mean, imagine
It was
that.
hard at home.
Yeah, I've already had that.
No, he was holding on to
And I
that.
see what you said. But I appreciate that.
Had a pillow around his waist to fall on.
Life vest.
That's something that's coming in about the expansion. Hopefully, instead, because, well, if you guys had talked about, maybe getting the sales tax involved in that.
Yeah.
So get by with what we have to have right now, right?
I thought it was down to 4.
Well, here's the-
Well, it might have been down
Well,
before.
maybe
you know,
before now,
you know,
sorry,
it was still down.
This is David in the water. Down to, this doesn't,
Well, I think we need to look at Cadillac in a little bit. I like the idea of the land application, things that would get us to ultimate permits. And the press and all the things that we've talked about over the years.
but if.
And have it committed to the future that we would be going, instead of totally paving roads, that we could apply some of this toward our wastewater, because wastewater is the life of the city of Jasper.
Well, it's what it will help sell us to other folks, when we can say we've got
Yes.
sewer, water,
And this
and
is what he's
supply,
talking
that's gonna
about.
bring business over.
Well, the sewer and water system of the city of Jasper is why we are what we've got, why we have it. So it's not just that we want to make money off water and sewer. We are city of Jasper, 515 in corporate central business district since. And the city had sewer back in the 40s. Those old lines over behind.
Maybe if you baffled refuge.
Yeah,
It takes like us before my time.
That's what it was when.
Yeah, they just kept the toilet paper out of it.
Well, truly was, and the aeration pond over
It's a
behind
trough,
Indian
about
Forest.
from here to that wall, and it run over those baffles, and the baffles, and there's a little screen in it to catch the paper and stuff, and the rest of it went right back in. Okay.
And actually back during the day, they would take boats with trolling motors and little motors and aerate the ponds with them, back in the sixties and seventies.
Yeah. Jasper is coming long way from
And at that particular time, back in the eighties, Mayor Newton went to Commissioner Quinton and said, we need some help, we've got dye going in the creek and about to shut down, our yarn company, and the Commissioner said, that's a city problem. The city goes out and borrows the money and builds a wastewater treatment plant during those days. So there's a lot of history you read about the right spots, and some people will tell you those stories. But next item, we beat this water thing to death. It's gonna be cold tomorrow and we'll get 23 more of these leaks out there. Lisa, group health, this is not gonna be the exact order for the council meeting. Thank you, Dave. And Ben will be here what day, the planning meeting in February?
The Thursday of the
February.
February
So,
workshop.
yeah.
Regular time?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. This is not anyway near what it's going to be at the council meeting, guys, but this way we made the list. Group health insurance, Lisa? I'm sorry, David.
I don't really have, numbers, updates. I was gonna let you know what's going on. I called Kevin Godfrey, the guy that came and spoke with y'all yesterday, and, he's asked for a list of items. We're gonna try to get Matt Bidwell to get to him. It's called our full renewal exhibits for the past 2 years, and that's what we're waiting on this year, and it won't be here until the end of this month, or won't be to the company until the end of this month. And he wants our summary plan description, or the plan design summary, and our full eligibility file. And we have requested all of these items from Matt. And then he said after he gets this information, which will be at least the end of this month, he can get us a quote in 10 to 14 days on the, and Kevin was the partially self-funded insurance guy. And Matt, he's just shopping out not self-insurance with the other. He said he was gonna go to Alliant, Humana, GMA, and Cigna, and Aetna.
Matt says that.
Yeah. So that's all I have to tell you on that.
Okay, any questions, Councilman?
You skipped H,
The audit.
audit.
He's just jumping around, he's not in any order.
I put in your book,
It's just a plan.
Rushton and Company's engagement letter. If y'all remember, this has been 2 years ago, when Clay Pilgrim came and gave the audit report. It was the last time he came. He talked to us about pricing and asked us if we would use them. We're not required to bid this out. And he said they would keep the same pricing that we paid in 2000 for the 2015 audit for 16, 17, and 18. And so y'all all agreed, and we used them last year. He did a good job. And this is in this engagement letter, it's the next to last page, we agreed to do it again for the same price, $17,290 for the financial statement audit, and $5,000 for the single audit. And we won't have a single audit this year because we haven't received enough federal money.
Okay, did we agree to do 3 years or 2 years?
I thought we did 2.
Oh, we did two, too.
I thought he said 3. I'll have to go back and look in the
We may
minutes.
have, but I think we only agreed to 2 more years.
Well, how many years have they done the audit for us?
Let's see, they started for 14, 15, and 16, so 3 years.
This will be the 4th year.
Time to go, so, I think.
Well, if not now, next year, I would say. I think there is a value to having another auditor come in. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever we decide. But you don't want to make it 10 years.
Well, they've not used the same personnel every year. It's
Yeah, last year's.
totally different crew.
Yeah.
So it is a different set of eyes looking at it. But but say next year, so after we do the audit this year, say sometime in July, begin the bidding process? After we get our DCA squared away?
I think we look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it at that time.
Okay. So we'll bring us to you. That way we can go, we'll be late if we start trying to do the bid process.
We couldn't do it now.
We're not
It's
gonna
too
do
late.
that.
Oh, we know that. I just was wanting to know when they got the agreement and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we could do it now, but it'd be hard. But they work well with our personnel, and that's very easy.
You were happy with them last year? They sort of slowed down on you toward the end, didn't they?
No, they
They've
didn't.
never been late.
No, they were right on time.
Good.
They finish their stuff, I start working on the financials and get it back to them when they ask, and it's very efficient working with them. I've never had any excuses from them, and I like that, because we've had that problem in the past. But we can look at putting it out, putting a request for proposal for bids next year, if you want.
Let's look at it, in the summer.
We'll start, in the summer.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, next item, these won't necessarily be in this order. We will appoint the Mayor Pro Tem with the first item, and then we appoint the city manager, and it'll be brought before you. I'll turn it over to Mr. Looney, and we'll go through the same process, and you have a chance to choose your city manager. And the next item would be, Lisa really want to make sure I didn't forget.
Yes, I, she
Okay.
knew he was gonna jump around anyway, so.
But they're not gonna swear us in, Ann, so we're just gonna have to wing it.
That's okay.
What was that?
You gonna swear us in?
in.
Oh, that's gonna be the first item on the list.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How long we
It'll
got
actually be there, huh?
You'll have to be for the meeting, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me? Alan Wiggins is gonna be here, he said, if,
I'll be swearing in.
oh, you will. Alan's counting on it, so you wanna call him about it?
Okay. Tell him to stand, get run for mayor, and he can do it.
Well, it says mayor or other qualified.
I know it, but I kinda like doing it.
Well,
Oh,
I
I
didn't
see
get sworn
the
in
time.
last time.
Huh?
I didn't get sworn in last
Yeah,
time.
you did pick your swear in.
Well, was there a Bible involved?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pick it. You, I promise you. But you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let him know.
If you wanted them to do it, but I kinda enjoy doing it from time to time, and I felt it'd be good year for me to do it. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I'll give you a copy of the oath, it's very simple.
Very short.
So make it long.
Aye.
I can make it longer if you want me to.
No, please don't.
Like the proclamation for the Marble Festival
Oh, Lord, that was long.
that I had to read, and I hadn't read it, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna pass out. I'm like, really?
I'm worried about Lisa reading the
Y'all dress
minutes.
up, you gotta have a
sometimes.
picture made, too, for the, you know, we'll have a picture made every year at the January meeting.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna be the, gosh.
I know, you gotta dress up twice this year.
Where's
This is
Jack?
a new year.
Sunday at church and now Monday here, wow.
Oh, my snow.
And of course, we'll have all the positions we appoint. I spoke with Jeff Dobson today. We need to fill one position on the planning, the zoning board of appeals. Karen's on that. And we got Ms. Mosley, Regina, and John Unsicker moved to Texas, and we call this thing maybe one time in 25 years. Somebody builds too close to something, we might have to get a variance. Anyway, but it's
I
nice
think
to
she's
have
met twice.
it twice.
Once was when Jeff Patterson wanted to build 2 houses on that lot.
That's right, that's
Still
right.
hadn't done it, and,
No, but he had to have it.
what was the other one?
But when the zoning board of appeals meets, they make a decision. Superior Court's the only one that can overturn it. It's don't even come to council. DOT traffic light permit. Lonnie got some information on that. I got a little bit for him if you don't have it.
I'm sure you know, we called Grant Waldrop, and I didn't hear if he called. you
He
back.
called me, I talked to him, I thought he talked to you as well.
No, he did not.
Grant called me yesterday, and the traffic lights for Main Street and, I'm sorry, Lonnie, Main Street, yes, Lonnie's over GPS in the ditch. Main Street and 53 and Sammy McGee is going to be let in August of 2018.
Big holes.
Yeah, the match arms, replace those. And the decel lane in front of the school has already been let, and it's gonna start, I believe in March, he said. So we'll have the decel lane turning into Holly Street that will be dumping into our hopefully new paved area over there by that time. And, behind the horse rink in that area. And we're working on that. We did not pave that, council, that was approved because the elevations never worked. For the road was so low going up into the road, and the dirt that we had next to the property, which I told you a little bit about, is, got that from Lawson's property and built a very good Georgia red clay foundation. And I've spoke with Miss Grant, who owns the property that goes down, the south side, outside the horse rink itself, outside where the soccer field is. She's agreed to let the city to come over on her, fill in that bar ditch and get ready for curb guttering. And what I'd like to bring before the council before we spend more money on it and approve this is that we'll have sidewalks around it. We'll have maybe 10, 12, maybe even 15 street lamps and curb and guttering all the way around it. And this road that the DOT's building for us, we'll be able to dump it right into this area, Jim. We've talked about this. This would be kind of the centerpiece for our road that I wanted the designers that were hired by the council to give us plans. It was supposed to be a traffic study, turned out to be more of a beautification study, but this would be the area that where we would spin a lot of traffic off from Industrial Boulevard. We'll have a plan for you drawn up pretty soon by one of the people who do pavement for us. So we'll give you some more ideas, and then we'll probably ultimately have it drawn up. Or y'all can cancel it, whichever you'd like to do. So it's going to be brought to you and be able to spend money proving this was splossed.
What did they have in that? Didn't they have something over there in that area, recommendation? Do you remember?
Who?
They didn't?
No.
No, they cut it off.
They
cut it off a
concentrate
lot.
on the sewer district.
But this was the areas that they had to look at to work on transportation. Because a lot of the traffic's already using it. You spin off and you can go through Spring Street, Mineral Springs, Cellar Street, Clydewood Street. You can also go around. You got Mineral Springs that takes you all the way back around to the jail. There's a lot of roads already in place. If they were improved and repaired to the standards to move a lot of traffic, we have it already. We have the road big.
Clydewood's a little skinny, isn't it?
It is, but there's room to widen there.
Yeah.
The road has always been a trail, but it is city property, and we can access both sides with curb and guttering and actually street light it, make it a very viable road.
We can make it a golf cart path.
Could make the golf cart path.
Was there any discussion of guardrail along that new road by the basketball court?
Yes, that what I'd like to see drawn up is dirt brought in on the basketball court side and do fill down through there so we get curb guttering and a sidewalk would go all the way around the center, and possibly even arrange one you could have it on the outside. The road
Sidewalk would be on that
the
end.
inside. The road is going to be 24 feet wide. It would meet DOT standards. When they finally decide to come and do the big road, they'll be able to tie into our project without having to go through the middle of the church's property. They'll be able to tie in and we'll be able to move a lot of traffic. John, you have any questions on this?
Update from the DOT?
The DOT, 2018, 2019, they're always throwing, but I think probably 2019, 2020 will be the next date we'll hear from the road. Lonnie, have you got any other data on that?
No, I don't, not on that.
We got a meeting with the DOT. When is that meeting?
It's, the 9th.
The 9th. And they'll give us an update on it. And usually the DOT grant, if someone comes to Jasper Commissioner's office and we meet the first Monday, and of course this year it was first Tuesday. We didn't have a meeting. But look over your property report inspections and have your meetings with your committees. And Jim, that'll be there. And of course, questions you have, feel free to call City Hall. Any questions? Council, I appreciate you coming tonight, sure do. And son, if you want Alan to swear you in.
You know, Bill didn't swear me in, it was kinda, and his health was bad, and it was kinda odd. I mean, it really was.
You didn't get a swearing in.
I didn't.
Well, raise your right hand.
I'm good with it.